Hey everyone, and welcome to That Interview Experience, the podcast where we try to dig into some of the challenges and questions that you might face as a young person when you are facing that first interview experience. I'm joined as ever this week by Helen Sanders, the irrepressible Helen. How are you, Helen?
I'm really irrepressible.
Irrepressible. It's a good word. I didn't make it up.
Although you wouldn't call yourself irrepressible, so I'm not irrepressible. I'm really good today, Ash. And you are fantastic as well, as always, I'm sure.
It's nice to hear. It's nice to hear. I've dressed for the occasion as always
Absolutely
on a Friday. It's good. It's good. And we've got Ellen Long with us this morning, which is amazing. I'm excited about this one because I know Ellen has done a lot of recruitment in her time. So this is going to be a lot of fun. How are you, Ellen?
I'm good, thanks, Ash. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us because it was quite short notice getting you on today.
No problem.
So, yeah, and we really appreciate that. So, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, Helen? I knew I would do this.
Helen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even say colour. We've got the same colour on, yeah.
I know, it's not helpful. Helen, go change. Go back. Yes, no, you're fine. So that works. That's fine. So, Ellen, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your business as well, and why you recruit and all that sort of stuff? Bit of background, bit of history, what you do.
Okay, so yeah, I run my own business. We are blinds and shutters, curtains, internal shading specialists and external shading specialists, actually. So I have salespeople working for me. I've got admin and I've got fitters. So there's a range of skills that work for me. And some have started their journey with me and others I've recruited towards the end of their career. So I've seen a whole range. I mean, I've owned the company 15 years now, I think. And before that, I was in marketing for international kind of news agencies, software companies. And within that, I recruited as well. So yeah, I've recruited my whole career.
Don't sound so happy about it. Do you enjoy recruiting? It's not one of our formal questions, but do you enjoy it if you've had to recruit that much?
Not really, no, if I'm to be honest. It's not my favourite part. It's you're very hopeful and then it's a two-way thing. And sometimes your hopes can get dashed.
But isn't that really interesting that, obviously we've set this up to help young people get over their fear, trepidation, anxiety around, or just give them some tips and support around that first interview experience for them. But you know, Ellen, you're a see, I got that right that time. You're an experienced recruiter. You've been doing it for 15, 20 years. You've probably seen dozens, if not hundreds of people across the table from you. Yeah. Yet for you, it's still a challenge to overcome. It's still something that you don't look forward to. You don't sort of take with a pinch of salt. It's something you
people are so important in the business. If the right person can absolutely make you, and especially a small team, and the wrong person, it's just pain and money and time, and it just goes on forever. So you're really keen to get the right person, and for that person opposite you to perform to their best, so that you can be confident that you're picking the right person. So you want to get the best out of them. You want to get their honesty so that you can see if they fit the best.
And the flip side of that, if I'm a young person coming and joining your team, you could be the making of me as well.
Absolutely.
Not just that they're the making of your team. You could be a brilliant opportunity, your team, your organization, whether it's this company or software companies, wherever. It's important.
I mean, I jokingly often say I've trained most of the people in this industry because I go to industry exhibitions and things, and I'm forever bumping into people that might have started or worked for me at some point and then for various reasons go on, and it's because it's one of those industries nobody leaves school thinking, oh, I want to go and be a blind fitter or sell blinds. Nobody's ever heard of it. But it is a very big and good industry. So once you're in, you tend to stay in, and then the same people.
So you've kind of alluded to it already, but what what are, you know, when you're looking for someone, especially a younger person, because I know you've recruited and you've played with the idea of apprentices and that sort of thing, and
Yep.
maybe people starting out who don't have that much of an idea of what they want to do. But what are you looking for? When, you know, when you're trying to bring someone into the organisation, especially younger people.
Well, especially younger people, but to be honest, from anybody, I want personality.
Yeah.
So it's got to start on the page. So get the hygiene factors out of the way. I expect them to be able to spell, lay out a page correctly, you know, and just make it look decent. Particularly, probably more young people these days, because I know they've got the computer skills. I've taken 60 plus people on, might give them a little bit of leeway if the job doesn't require computer skills, or not many. Whereas, you know, if I'm taking, we've just recently taken on a 26-year-old, you know, I expect him to be able to make a Word document up and spell check it and, you know, get it looking half decent. So that's basic hygiene. And then I want to see personality, because we're a small team, as I said, and you know, you've got to fit in. And when you first get a CV, it's very hard, you know, if they're young and they're just leaving school or college, then, you know, you're not going to have much experience. So what sets you apart? Why are you interesting?
Yeah.
And then once you start going through your career, you're going to be up still against competition. So again, what is it about you that might just make me think, oh, that's interesting, I would like to talk to that person? So the first thing is the CV's got to make me want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And
it's got to intrigue you. It's got to make you sit up and go, oh, they look more interesting than the other 120 CVs that I have.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've got a 16-year-old son, and he's got his first job this summer, and I did his CV for him. I fully admit it. And he's not formally worked before. He's done a bit of babysitting, you know, and some other volunteering work and whatever. So we had to pad it out. But really it was, you know, why does he want the job? Or why does he want a job? It's not even the job at this point. He just wants a job for the summer. But being honest about that, I'd rather people were honest about what they're looking for, so that I can see, well, okay, yes, that fits with my values or what I'm looking for.
So if on a CV you saw from a young person, I grew up always wanting to be a blind fitter, you're going to know that isn't necessarily true, but you're going to like their kind of gumption to do that. Do you know what I mean?
It might be difficult if you were recruiting for the police, maybe, but
but for Ellen, you know, not the police.
So I think, it would probably make me smile if they thought if they did that.
That's where I was heading.
I think they were cheeky, but if they then followed it up because I know somebody in, or you know, my mum's made curtains, or you know, my uncle's fitted name drop or whatever, then actually that would be a great thing. Then even if they've got no experience, so they immediately know something about the industry. So that would be a good lead in. Okay. So there's two sides. Yes, you can be cheeky, but also, you know, just any connection to that job in a covering letter that's being offered, it would be a good idea.
Yeah, so don't be afraid of injecting a little personality. So if you have, during the pandemic, sold, I don't know, cakes, maybe that wouldn't happen during the pandemic, but I know someone of this age, so they're 17 now, where they started homemaking candles, and it wasn't on her CV. And she was selling them via Facebook, via her mum's connections on Facebook. I said, well,
huge amount of skills there.
Put that. She said, but you know, all I was doing was making candles. Yes, you were. Yeah, absolutely. And you were selling them.
Follow instructions. You're quite creative. You've understood there's the demand and supply issues. You've managed to find an audience and a consumer base.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
Yeah. And then when they arrived in the box, there were some little samples of other things that she was doing as well. I was like, come on, get that on your CV. So don't be afraid of being yourself.
See, it's interesting because immediately there's a part of me going, I don't need to see the rest of the CV.
Correct.
I just want an introduction to this person.
Yeah.
Because if they're showing that much initiative,
Mm.
then what they're going to do when they're part of an organization that's allowing them to show initiative and is giving them the space and the tools and the and the training and the we have a bit of a mantra in our business that it's okay to make mistakes as long as you're making mistakes for the right reasons. And I think for a young person going into an organization, flipping it around in terms of what should they be demanding from organizations, is that space to be creative. Is that space to kind of make mistakes, because we can't expect anyone at 17, 18, 19 years old in their first job to come into an organization and be the first perfect fitter, to be the perfect recruiter, to be the perfect police officer, whatever it is. They're going to make mistakes. And I think they have to be brave enough personally in an interview to be able to turn around and challenge me and say, look, this is my first job, and if you offer it to me, I'm going to make mistakes. What will happen then? And I'd love that sort of question directed at me.
I've made enough
mistakes. Takes real confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we've talked about the CV. So then in an interview, what is it you look for? So they've made you interested. They've shown a bit of something about themselves on the CV. You've invited them in. What do they need to show you there?
They need to show me they've done at least half an hour of research. To be honest,
least half an hour.
At least half an hour.
Amount of research. Yeah.
What do you know about us? I don't know. Just turned up. Isn't going to go down very well with me.
No.
I've looked at your website and your social media sites. You obviously do big houses. So this picture behind me is not my real house. I'm not sitting here, but that is the kind of house we're doing. So some kind of opinion or just understanding of what we do. And hopefully that's got them one question that they want to ask, whatever it is. And you see, one of the trick questions, well, it's not trick, but one of the questions we always ask is, what do you have at your own windows? Now, the amount of salespeople I have recruited that then struggle to describe what they have in their own windows in their own house.
What a great interview question.
I mean, you're meant to be selling something that's going to be put up at your windows and you have no idea. And they absolutely go blank.
I guess for a younger person, they're going to say, well, whatever my mum and dad put there.
You go to bed every night. What do you do? How do you make your room dark?
Yes.
It's not a very complicated question. So it always amazes me how difficult people find it to answer it. So do half an hour of research at least, just so that you know a little bit.
Look at your window treatments.
I mean, quite often, because there's a lot of videos of me on the website, unfortunately, and people track me down on LinkedIn, and I've made a few comments. So that there's things that they can find out about the certainly the boss of the company or something.
And that's true. And that's true even if you're going for a job at a large business.
Any age.
If you're even if you're a young person, you're going for an apprenticeship or a grad training scheme at a GSK or a big multinational corporate. It is not difficult now to find out. In fact, the bigger the business, the easier it is to find out something about what they do and the department that they're in. And you can, we've been banging on about this a little bit, Helen, haven't we? I don't know, can you bang on about something a little bit? We've certainly talked about it. But if you are 17 and you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you are putting yourself in the back seat. Because recruiters, and if not recruiters, business owners will start looking at your social media profiles. Yes, we'll have a cursory check on probably on Instagram, and I'll get one of the kids to check out their TikTok because I can't.
You can't even say it.
I can't even say it. but I will get them to. I will look for their LinkedIn profile, because that questioningly sets them apart. Says they're serious about work.
And it doesn't have to be perfect, does it?
No, it just needs to be on there, and their cake making skills need to be on there. And their babysitting skills need to be on there. And I think people dismiss those things that they take. I did some babysitting, and they don't put it on there. But one human being is giving you responsibility for the most important thing in their life, and you're going to dismiss that?
No, I mean, my son started at 14, and like the third time he went, they expected him to feed a toddler. nothing with it. I know, they're very trusting, but you know, he is great with kids. First one, he changed a nappy. I never told him how to do it, but he's just got this innate ability. So the other thing is, if you put it on your CV, be able to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
and what you learned as well.
Yeah, so flesh it out. Don't just repeat that you did it, but you know what you learned, what you enjoyed, what you hated, what you want to take from it, whether you do it again. Just round about it.
Yeah. So you gave us your favorite question, your secret question around
what do you have?
What have you got in your windows? What has been your favorite answer to that? I can't wait for this.
Well, other than the people that can't remember, usually gets the black mark immediately. The people who then describe it in full, know where they got it from, you know, because then especially in sales, that's really going to give me a lot of confidence. So I can't remember a favorite one, but
but they either answer it or they don't answer it, I guess. That's why it's your favorite question, isn't it? Yeah.
And you we were mentioned off air, and I don't know, this might lead us down a blind alley, but you were trying to remember the name of Karen Brady, and I'm guessing there's a reason behind that, and you wanted to bring that in.
Yes, so I saw a talk by Karen Brady off the telly, but no, she's a female entrepreneur who's very well known and very successful, and she said her the question she always asks at the end of an interview is, what haven't you told me that I should know about you?
I like that.
I mean, that could lead into so many places, couldn't it?
Oh yeah. So sometimes it gives you the opportunity, gives the interviewee an opportunity to say, oh, I meant to mention this and I haven't had the chance. A lot of people just go, oh, nothing. I don't know. Yeah, nothing. Which is a bit dull, because you're being given an opportunity to push something about yourself. So always have something, a little story that you can tell, I think, in your back pocket. So to put you in a good light, to make you more memorable. But no, it has led to some interesting things. So, you know, I achieved this, or, you know, last week I jumped out of a plane for charity, you know, just something random things that just again brings personality out, and so it's quite an interesting one.
And that's given me an idea. If I'm a 17-year-old going for an interview with you or with Ash or anywhere else, and I'm not asked that question, but you've prepped for it, there is no reason why you can't at the end of the interview say, well, actually, one more thing that I just want to share with you that you may not know about me already is X.
Absolutely, because most interviewers will say, is there anything else? Do you have any more questions, or is there anything else you want to say? And that's your chance. So, you know, if you were writing an essay, it's like the conclusion bit or the summary bit. You know,
and it should end on a high as well. It should end the whole interview process. You've gone through the formal questions. You may have picked up some bits and pieces. You might be like, oh, I quite like this person, but you know, it's very difficult when answering that question not to end the interview with that experience in a positive light, because hopefully you're carrying something in your back pocket that's quite uplifting, as opposed to
I mean, I wouldn't say, in closing, what you need to know about me is I've got no interest in your company at all, and my mum's made me come here today. Don't finish with that.
Don't do that. Not that one.
Not ideal.
Not a good one. No.
That's brilliant. So Ellen, if people are interested in you know, have a burning desire at, you know, 14 years old to be a fitter, or perhaps just get into sales, which is more realistic, and you have quite a, not old school, but it's quite a traditional way of selling, you know, face to face in people's homes. It's very consultative, and it's a difficult and dying skill.
Absolutely.
I know you're always.
Nobody goes to university to learn how to become a salesperson, and there's always jobs for sales.
Always jobs for sales, definitely. So how would people get a hold of you if they wanted to have a chat or come from
my LinkedIn profile?
There you go.
Do that.
Nice and easy.
Or look at wiserinteriors.co.uk and get in contact through that. But you know, I have had approaches and taken on people in the past through random phone calls. You know, knock on doors. Don't wait for people to put it up, because
Well, if you're
what it's all about.
if you want to get into sales, the best way to do that is to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Surely.
And
Don't wait
so
for the
many
opportunity.
can't.
So many can't.
Yeah. So that your lady who's selling the candle, your girl that's selling the candles, if she was looking for a sales role, I would want to know how many candles has she sold.
Yes.
And how much money has she made out of them?
Margin. Yeah, absolutely.
Margin.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not expecting
like Dragon's Den, Helen.
Well, it is a little bit. What's Dragon's Den? It's not a bad thing. I mean, obviously they're asking different things, but what they're trying to get out of people is personality.
Yes.
Understanding of what they're talking about, of their strengths and weaknesses, because they're really looking to invest in that person, not in the business.
Correct. Yeah. And so are you, aren't you?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Brilliant. What a good chat. They're always good, aren't they? Thank you, Helen. Thanks for coming in.
Good. I hope it was helpful.
Thank you, Helen.
Very.
Good luck to everybody out there in their first career.